Irashaimase. Hello and welcome to Fitaurus Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fitaurus. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday. And on the menu this Saturday, we have Aeternum, an indie bullet hell recently released on Steam. What kind of taste will it have? Let's get cooking and find out. From Creaky Lantern Games, Aeternum originally came out on the Xbox 360 as an indie title in 2012. Now available on Steam in 2017. What kind of gameplay do we have here? As we press play game, we're taken to our mode select screen. And here we've got a few modes we can play the game in. There's the story mode, which allows us to explore the mystery of the missing students. Arcade mode, where you have lives instead of the panic shields and the power system that's present in the game. And I'll get to that as we are playing through the title itself. Pacifist, which you're playing through the game without the ability to fire, and Arrange, with advanced scoring for experienced players. Selecting story, we're taken to the character select screen, and here's one of the main differences between this version and the original 360 version. In the original 360 version, there were only two characters, Alicia and Aubrey, the speedy demoness and the hapless buccaneer. Aubrey you could get after, or rather, she was a locked character who you unlock after completing the story mode. The Steam version adds the clueless marksman, CB. For our purposes today, though, we'll be playing it with the main character, Alicia. We have 4 difficulty settings to select between: normal, a leisurely stroll; hard, tough but fair; demonic, not to be trifled with; and lunatic, for the truly mad. We'll be playing a normal, a leisurely stroll. I feel that this is a good mode for those that are more novice bullet hell fans, as there's challenge, but at the same time, it's not over the top. So we have our main character Alicia here, looking for my bestest friend Marcy. That's why I'm here. Haven't seen her in a while and don't know why I'm singing. You have various visual novel style cutscenes like that throughout the gameplay itself. Usually before, at the start of the stage a little bit, then we also have some before the mini bosses and at the stage boss as well. So as we move around with our shot destroying these enemies, they drop these red tokens, which we can collect by getting close to the tokens themselves, or if we can make it all the way over there, if we get to the right side of the screen, we'll do an auto collect and pick up all the tokens on the screen itself. The tokens give us power, and we have, or each token is worth 5 power. As we collect the power, our shot will power up to 400. Each time we hit 100 mark, the level of our shot goes up 1, basically. Here we find ourselves at the first mini boss, Archibald. Archibald, keeping the cats in line? There's a lot of them out that day. Archibald, the cat wrangler. So our first boss, life at the bottom, as well as a timer. So I've gotten hit a couple times, and while you still have panics available, if you get hit, you automatically deploy a shield. It is possible to deploy the shield at a timing of your own choosing, but it will cost you 50 power to do. Still, that is significantly less of a penalty than if you were to actually take a hit yourself, as in that situation you lose all the power you have, but in a Sonic the Hedgehog style, that power does come out of you and you can collect it kind of the way that Sonic would with rings that he takes, that are on the screen after he takes a hit. So, in addition to the ability to fire and deploy a shield, we also have a focus button, which gives us focus movement as well as focus fire. In both focus mode and when you're moving around normally, you also can graze enemy shots to increase the graze counter at the top of the screen and get bonus points for a big score. And that's made easier in focus mode as we see our heart, basically our hitbox, displayed when we're moving around in focus. It's really cute, actually. We find ourselves at the boss of Stage 1, Candace Sky. here we can get a good glimpse of some awesome bullet patterns that the game throws at us. So it is possible to time out all the various phases of the bosses that you face, both the sub-bosses as well as the stage boss. In addition to their life bar, there's always a timer associated with each phase that they enter. That's important to keep in mind. As we were noting earlier, the game does have a pacifist mode. So playing it in pacifist, that's how you'd be able to defeat the bosses, basically just outlasting them. Not an easy feat by any stretch of the imagination. So with Candace here, her background when she goes into the trippy psychedelic background really boggles like my mind as it's rotating around in a pattern and focusing on your character. It really makes me dizzy. So I was mentioning that we have the ability to use shields ourselves, and we have panic shields that activate when we get hit in the same way that auto bombs work. It is possible to get additional panics at set score intervals, but to be honest, I'm not 100% sure what those intervals are. I believe they're around the 2 million point mark, but don't necessarily take my word completely on that. We've been able to go and defeat her. If you do defeat the boss in a timely fashion, you get additional point bonus. So it's possible if you're really efficient and fast at taking out the bosses, you can rack up some really high scores just from the bosses themselves. Alright, just down this hall, should find Millie in the computer lab. Wait, what is that? Searching the halls of Aeternum Academy. So each character does have a different fire pattern as well as a different shield. So CB, the new character, as you power up her shot, she gains what I best to describe for me as options, Gradius style. And when you use your focus fire, those ones are locked into place, allowing you to, well, focus fire in a particular location. It's actually really nice. Aubrey has a really powerful spread using some fish bones that she has also as options around her. And when she focuses fires, her shot becomes really focused and quite powerful. So here's our mini boss for stage 2, Jeanette. As far as the shields for the other two characters, when you're using CB and you activate her shield forms around her options that she's using. Potentially blocking shots, but if you don't happen to be close to your options, it could mean that that shield isn't going to actually encompass your character. And then for Aubrey, her shield doesn't necessarily encompass her or herself, but actually she has a powered up shot that sweeps away all the bullets in the path, as well as dealing heavy damage to the characters you'd be shooting at. But I really do like this third form of Jeanette. We have this free-floating portal that's firing out its own pattern of bullets, in addition to Jeanette firing out her bullets, creating a really tricky and unique battlefield to maneuver around. And there we have it. Aeternum served up for your enjoyment. So, covering the minus flavors I have for the game first, I don't feel like there's much variety to, especially the fodder style enemies that we're facing. Basically, in Stage 2, you've seen all that the game has to offer. We've seen the cats in teacups, which are the bulk of the enemies that we'll face. We've also seen those orbs, and we've also seen the space corgis. And that comprises your non-boss enemies. Although I do think that the sprites are super cute, I did wish there was a little bit more enemy variety to it. Another minus flavor is the game is short. There's 4 stages total. The first 4 stages with, the first 3 stages with a sub-boss and a stage boss, and then the last stage is just the final boss with one form. There is an extra stage which adds a 5th stage to it, and that boss, once again, that's just a boss, and that boss has a couple phases to her. Of course, there are quite a few waves to those bosses, so it's not like it's necessarily a cakewalk. It's really quite a challenge, but there is that. And then there's the trippy psychedelic backgrounds that the bosses do have, which can be really disorienting throughout the course of a run. Plus flavors, though, I really do like the sprite art, though. I think the cats in cups are super cute, even if I wish there was more to them. Then I also really like all the characters that you can both play and the bosses that you fight against. It has a great chiptune soundtrack, and I really do enjoy the power life system that's present throughout the course of the game. That similar to that Sonic the Hedgehog feeling, where if you go and have just that one last ring that you're holding onto, you can keep going against a boss. Same kind of feeling here, and it's a good feeling to have. Aeternum is a title that I can definitely recommend to fans of bullet hells, or shoot 'em up fans that are looking to try what would be probably a good training bullet hell. This is definitely one that you can try to see what you think of them, especially at its reasonable price point on Steam. Once again, there we have it. Aeternum served up for your enjoyment. I want to thank you so much for coming out and joining me today for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and as always, I look forward to seeing you again next week.